Titterpigs, oh yeah. They're gonna talk about sweet, sweet RPGs. And it's the Titterpigs, the RPG podcast. Am I getting paid for this one?
Welcome back to Titterpigs. This is episode 50. I am your host, Keith, with Scott in the studio. This is our half-century mark. Holy crap, Scott. We have made it to the big 50. I'm ready for my colonoscopy, as according to my doctor. This is time, and it's going to be painful.
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically, this is supposed to be our 51st, but for reasons we'll discuss later in this episode, there's definitely a road bump that stopped us from editing and putting out the original 50th episode. And speaking of colonoscopy, there's some other things that we'll discuss that kind of reminds me of getting reamed. Well, not that I know what that's like, but anyways, maybe I'll edit that out. But yeah. So we've been on a bit of a extended break again, for a variety of reasons. We've been busy with things personal and also things within gaming that required our attention, which kept us from scheduling and getting together at a good time to record. We did record an episode just over a month ago, and during the process of editing that and trying to get it out, some things occurred where we couldn't. So we decided, rather than put that out, which there was going to be some material in there that may be a bit dated, we decided to come back and just kind of have a casual ramble of sorts, an idle chat, a meandering, where we're just going to maybe talk about a few things, see where the conversation goes, kind of dust off the old mics a bit, and just kind of stretch our muscles before we start getting into some other episodes that we've got planned. And just to see where the episode takes us.
Because I need to stretch these voice muscles. me. Because I am a little under the weather, so I apologize in advance, listeners. I've just been traveling again, work stuff, like real life, got in the way of re-recording. I spent what did I spend, Scott? Like almost 2 weeks in Texas.
Yeah. You spent a good amount of time in Texas, and we could tell from the occasional video chat that we were able to get you on that you were bored out of your ever-loving fucking mind.
It was.
While you were there. So,
Texas sucks.
That's a good entry point. So, before we get into the meat of the conversation, why don't we just what are some recent things that we have been up to kind of bring people up to date?
Well, as I said, I was in northern Texas. I was in Wichita Falls, Texas for a class for work. Mm-hmm. I won't bore you with what I was there for, other than to say I was there for curriculum development, military class I was attending. Boring enough. I've said enough on that. However, excuse me, I managed to catch the equivalent of con crud coming back through the airports in Dallas. It sucks. That or I have COVID. I don't know which, and I don't have any COVID tests, so I'm not going to take one. And I'm not going to go buy one, so I don't know. That being said, Wichita Falls, Texas is an absolute shit place.
For our listeners in Wichita Falls,
I love you. I mean it. But for when I say shit place, like y'all got a great brewery. Wichita Falls Brewery is fantastic. Y'all do some wonderful restaurants. I ate some great food. My waistline says so. Mm-hmm. Now, that being said, y'all don't do gaming really well.
There it is. There it is.
There's the linchpin in my statement. Yeah. Y'all don't do gaming well.
Right.
I looked up, I Googled, I Yelped, I found every which way, short of looking up into a 1980s Yellow Pages for gaming stores.
Right.
And I could only find a small number of them and or comic stores that might have games.
Right.
And I was horribly disappointed.
Ooh. Now,
yeah.
I think we've kind of been in that situation, but usually these are kind of maybe a bit more rural areas, places that are a bit out of their way. Now, not everyone is lucky enough to have a game store in their town, but usually there's a decent one within, let's just say, maybe an hour drive. I believe you told me that probably after going to some of these and maybe seeing them, the most decent one you could find was a 2.5 hour drive away, maybe more.
So in Wichita Falls, I went to the store that I had the most hope for.
Right.
And had been advertised on the web as having been there for 30 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I go there. That was a very, very disappointing.
No
place.
shit. Now, 30 years. What's the name of this place? Because obviously they're not listening.
I think it was called Pegasus Hobbies.
Okay, so it is definitely a hobby / game store. It's not like, Atomic Comics.
There was no hobby involved. No comics. No hobby.
What?
It was a game store. It was a game store.
Okay.
I walked in. They had a handful of. They didn't sell any card singles. They had a handful of booster boxes,
right,
in a glass case. You could buy packs or whatever.
Okay.
Cool. They had some miniatures games, blisters and things like that for Flames of War, a couple of things like that. And I mean, literally a couple.
Right.
And they had one miniatures table set up that could be kitted out to play whatever you wanted, like a 4x8 table. Role-playing game books. They had a couple of Pathfinder, a couple of D&D, a couple of, a few other things, a couple of starter sets. Mm-hmm. They may have had 20 books in total.
Wow.
A few board games.
Okay.
Maybe 30, 40 board games in total. And that was kind of the entirety of the store.
Now, what was the square footage of the store? I mean,
The square footage of the store was probably 1,500 square foot.
Okay, so
it was a decent size storefront.
So they had room if they really.
They did. There was a lot of dead space, just open space. Huh. You could have had wheelchair races around the little, center kiosk areas.
Now, did you embrace your inner East Coast vibe and say, "Hey, man"?
No, I kept my mouth shut.
What the fuck? Oh,
I kept my mouth shut.
Okay. That's
so
fine.
Another store I went to when I left there was my second best hope. The other ones were all dashed the day before. They were literally
okay.
Oh, you have 20 D&D books and they're all modern. I'm out. That was it.
Okay.
So this was a comic game store and
okay.
Oodles and oodles of comics. I wasn't buying comics while I was there.
Sure.
This one actually had hundreds of board games. Great. Sure. I wasn't there for board games. So
okay, fair enough.
High hopes. And they had a smattering of newer books. Mm-hmm. I wasn't interested in the modern D&D stuff. They didn't have any other things outside of D&D Pathfinder.
Sure.
And then, oddly enough, they had a couple of Palladium books. I'm like, nope, not touching those. And then, but they had older out of stock books.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. So I start in a couple of old school magazine boxes under a table. And I started digging through those. And it was 8 or 10 of those boxes. I started digging through those. Some were new and shrink stuff. Mm-hmm. There was some old AD&D stuff. I started digging through that. But the guy knew he had knew what he had, and he had collector prices on this stuff.
Right.
So there was Birthright stuff. There was Dark Sun stuff.
Ooh.
There was older non-D&D stuff, older Pathfinder, early first edition Pathfinder stuff.
Sure.
And things like that. And but he knew he had collector prices. He knew what he had. Okay. He had collector price stuff on it. Right. I wasn't spending $35 and $40 for one of those new in shrink, very delicate Dark Sun boxes that was like just a supplement. You know the ones I'm talking about that would like crush if you looked at it wrong?
Yes, I have.
That had the little like spiral bound little notebook thingy in it?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't spending $35 or $40 on one of those.
Okay.
So.
And you weren't spending $200 on Birthright or anything like that?
No, he had two behind the shelf, behind the glass cases up on the wall.
Okay.
He had a Night Below box set.
Oh.
With a $60 price tag on it. I'm like, can I take a look at that?
Really?
And so he gave it to me, but it was missing one of the maps.
Oh, fuck.
That's why it was $60.
Ah, fuck that.
Yeah. But then right next to it, he had a Planescape box set.
Ooh.
$250.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Dude, you are in the... I mean, here's the thing, right?
Meh. I don't know, man.
He should be pricing it for people like you who happen to roll into that town.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
from what you tell me, nobody in this town is going to buy that shit because no one's into... I mean, I'm saying no one's into
gaming. It didn't look like
gaming.
he was doing internet sales. I mean, maybe he was. I don't know. But you had said, I had told you where the nearest place was. I would have had to travel 2 to 2.5 hour and 45 to go back down to Dallas.
Yeah.
To go to like Game Nerds or some other stores in the greater Dallas area.
Yeah, no, not on a business trip. That's that's unfortunate because you know it again. You know, I've done plenty of traveling around the country, and yeah, when I get somewhere, you know, there's a few things that I look to see if they have around, and one of those is a game store of sorts. Now, 90% of the time when it says game store, if you happen to go look at it, you walk in, it might as well just say Magic Store because it's a trading card gaming store with, like you said, maybe a couple WotC books in the corner, and that's fine, you know. And
that's what I found. But even the ones that were what I was tending to find was comics, cards, and just a sprinkle of books.
Right.
They were all kind of all-inclusive, which is fine. I get the market there is different than here or where you live.
Yeah.
However, even Magic.
Yeah, that's the one that's confusing.
Pokemon or, you know, UFS or Yu-Gi-Oh! Did not, the places I went, did not seem to have the presence, the retail presence that it has in other places. Wichita Falls is not like a small city. I mean, it's a city.
Yeah.
But it's spread out. It's not as populated as it is here. Here is like growing like crazy here in the Charleston metro area. Huh. But
it had a legacy store with
that's what threw me for a loop.
With hobbies in the name. Now, my experience when you go to some place that has hobbies in the name that's been around for a while, like take for example Brookhurst Hobbies. Now, Brookhurst Hobbies may not mean a lot to people in the role-playing game world, but for people who've been into wargaming, Brookhurst Hobbies was one of the biggest stores in not only in California, but probably the nation at some point in time, and it's still around. And when you go into some of these places that have been around for so long, they're probably not going to have a lot of role-playing games, but you bet your sweet ass you're going to see stacks of Osprey books. You're going to see kits and models and wargaming shit and, you know, all of that stuff. And, you know, there's going to be World War II airplanes that were built in the 60s hanging on wires and whatnot. And there's going to be some old guy who couldn't care fucking less if you're in the goddamn store. But that's
how I felt when I went into the second store that actually had the older stuff. There was an older guy behind the counter, playing like a goddamn video game on his computer, or maybe searching a porn site. I have no idea.
Right.
Said hi to me when I walked in, but other than that, didn't give two shits. And then another guy, slightly younger, was playing on a laptop back in like the play area. I think another employee.
Sure.
Because he wasn't the owner. Maybe the old guy at the counter was the owner. I don't know.
Yeah.
And he was the one that was engaging with me, trying to get me to, you know, sell me up on stuff and make a purchase and take it home with me. And he was trying to be the apex salesman, and I'm just like, I wasn't having any of it. But you know.
No, it sounds to me like the hobby store that's been around for 30 some odd years or whatever. That kind of sounds like something happened, right? It either changed hands, somebody went bankrupt, and they sold off all their inventory, and this is just what's left. And whoever is running it is just running it. You know what I mean? And I've
Yeah.
seen stores like that. That was, kind of near the tail end of my friend's store before, he closed it down and sold it off. It was kind of like that. He had like a 1,200 square foot store that in its height, packed, wall to wall with games and RPGs and stuff like that, and had a official Warhammer corner and all sorts of stuff. But of course, when you're on your way out, you're not going to restock your inventory.
Right. And that could have been the case.
Yeah. So,
which is sad.
Yeah.
And that probably, unfortunately, may be the case with that store, because a lot of the other businesses around them, like they were in a corner unit in the building they were in. I think all the other units in that building were vacant.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's
quite possible.
It's hard
appeared to be vacant.
It's hard to say. I mean, it used to be like, okay, a while back, game stores were suffering, right? And it's like, well, let's transition to an online model, and or all online model, like Wayne's, right? Wayne's Books and whatnot.
Yep.
But even now, with everything, the shipping and the tariffs and everything, even that's gonna be even more difficult. So I could feel them, but it's odd to have these stores, and people, they don't really have their thumb on the hobby in its entirety. It tends to be focused on one thing. Like when I met my friend Darren years ago at Strategicon, he had just some D&D 5th edition stuff, and asked him if he had more RPGs. And he's like, I've never really been too much into RPGs that much. I'm kind of, a trading card gamer or board gamer and whatnot. And I'm like, well, my friend, let's take a walk. And over time, his stock grew. And it did, bring people in. It did, sell. And it's just, and you don't have to have like, this other game store where it's like their RPG wall takes up half their store, because he's been around for a few decades. But just having a, even just going online and asking some questions of like, hey, I've got a store, what's new and hot and what should I stock? You'd be surprised at how many people will kind of give you the same information to stock these shelves, and you'll probably have people, come in and buy it. And not discounting, hey man, should I put some indie game on the shelves? Sure, if you want, but still, you need to kind of have a general, a general selection for people who aren't that deep in the hobby, and stuff besides D&D,
Yeah. So if I go back to Wichita Falls, which I got a sneaky suspicion I will, I'm going to, for another 2 weeks, a little bit later this year, early next year.
Right.
I'm going to be just as bored and bothering you.
Oh, no.
Well, video calls.
Let me know what that one guy has, because the Dark Sun stuff may be within a price range that's acceptable. We'll see. But $250 for Planescape. No, thank you. No,
yeah, that was the core box set.
If it was the last one in the United States, maybe
not. But yeah,
no.
So what have you been up to?
Oh, let's see.
That's what I've been doing.
Yeah,
that's been my life.
Well, I mean, not to drag it out into the personal aspect. Kind of what's been keeping me busy is we moved my dad in to the house near the beginning of July. And that involved kind of redoing the downstairs bedroom that we have, which is now his. New flooring, new painting. We had new window coverings in, put in plantation shutters on the downstairs. Kind of an upgrade. So, but a lot of moving him in has been an excuse for us to kind of get some stuff done that we've kind of been putting off for so long. And we've literally been in the process of gutting and reorganizing the entire house. Not just like a couple closets, not just like the garage, but like I've been meticulously going from place to place in the house and just tossing shit that doesn't belong, tossing shit we never use. And what remains is organized and neat, and then moving on to the next thing. And probably got rid of, maybe 15 years of crap that just have been
Nice.
sitting here. Excuse me. And of course, there's been some accumulation of it during lockdown. And it feels good. I mean, it's you've
Good
seen
for you.
you've seen the pictures. It's a giant trash container of just junk. Going through our files and shredding stuff that we don't need. Yeah, Julie doesn't need a box of paychecks from 2005. Or not paychecks, paycheck stubs, I should say, not paychecks.
Right.
We didn't shred paychecks, but things like that. It's just kind of one of those. But the thing is it started with the garage, and it just kept going. So I figured,
just kept going and going.
Yeah. So I figured, so we kind of have a little bit left to do, a bit of our bedroom and closet to kind of get through, and that's kind of going to we'll be done. Every nook and cranny will be neat and organized, and then when it happens again, that'll be the kids' problem, because hopefully we're not going to do this again until we decide to kick off this planet. So that'll be their fucking issue. But yeah, I mean, other than that, just getting involved in getting things ready for CamCon coming up. I've got to for this Taskmaster game, I've got to produce a video or a picture of either a large group of people saying hi CamCon or a somewhat famous person. I have nobody that I know that, I mean, I do, but that I could get this done easily. So
I got thoughts.
Okay. So
you want me to tell you now or tell you offline?
Oh, tell me offline. Tell me offline,
Okay.
because I don't want to spoil it. But and of course, preparing for the game. We did our test run of WHPA the other night, and then also you saw the shirt that I'm presenting for the special gift Taskmaster, right? I showed that to you.
I don't think so. You can show me offline too.
Yeah, exactly. So
okay.
And we've kind of picked up the Grey Knight campaign.
We have
with the same group that we did with the starter set, and that's been fun. It's also been kind of a good diversion, for people, considering what we've been through, and So I mean, I'm sure there's some other things. I've been doing the general gaming. I've been playing the GURPS Mythic Rome in Pat's campaign, having an excellent time with that. That's been a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
But
I need to get my button gear. I gotta
Yeah.
do my con prep for November and submit my games. I got like a week or two left to submit my games. Oops.
Yeah. So
I've been a little preoccupied and
focused
on submitting my games.
Yeah. So, well, why don't we get into it? Because, obviously there's, some things we want to get off of our chest, primarily.
Because I'm beleaguering the fact that I'm kicking that can down the road.
Yeah. Well,
but yeah, no, we need to.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm sure many people who listen to this podcast are well aware that a couple weeks ago, our friend Bud from Bud's RPG Review suddenly passed away from a long fight with an internal infection, and we've all been dealing with the shock of the situation. Everybody, has kind of banded together as you do when you lose a loved one, just kind of out of the blue like it did, and everyone's been consoling each other and doing whatever we can to kind of start the healing process. And that's
been a huge factor in us not recording. And we had, so as Scott mentioned in the beginning of this, we had a recording and we started editing it, and then that Bud had gone into hospital.
Yeah. And
we were focused on him in the situation and getting updates from his family. And the last thing that became our families. And then obviously Bud and his family became our focus.
Right.
And like gaming was put aside, the podcast editing was put aside. So I'm not going to apologize for that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just not going to, because that was, that was our focus. And so our material became dated and didn't come out because it became dated.
Yeah.
And so here we are.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Bud did not make it. The situation escalated and he passed.
Yeah.
And so now we're further dealing with that. But I think for me anyways, part of the healing process is getting back on the horse, as it were.
Yeah.
Getting back into gaming, getting back into recording.
Right.
Shifting some focuses. For those that were not patrons of mine on Rolling Boxcars, I know Scott was, some other listeners were. I'm not doing Rolling Boxcars anymore. I mean, I kind of am. I mean, the blog's still going to exist, but I'm not writing anymore. I am focusing on the podcast.
Yeah.
Kind of refocusing my energies into the hobby versus being what do I want to say? A taskmaster to the hobby. I want to enjoy my hobby.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And a lot of people applauded your decision and supported it too.
But the situation with Bud, it really made me rethink my engagement with the hobby. Because let's face it, I turned 50 this year. I'm not getting, and Bud was only 2 years older than I am.
Right.
I'm not getting any younger. I want to enjoy my hobby. I don't want to be chained to the hobby.
Right.
So I enjoyed writing my reviews and my articles and stuff, but I don't want to be chained to the hobby. I do like doing the podcast. That's why I'm going to continue to do the podcast, because I really enjoy this.
Yeah.
And I don't mind the editing process and all of that, but the whole situation, especially when he went into the hospital and obviously the aftermath, really caused me to refocus. And part of the healing process, again, is getting back on that horse.
Right.
And redirecting, refocusing, and re-engaging.
Right. So, well, one of the reasons why, it was very difficult, during the few weeks to kind of focus on much of anything other than what was absolutely necessary. So there's the circumstances of how Bud went into the hospital and, what was going on while he was there. So I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty details, but, Keith and I will kind of, just fill in some of the gaps there. So, I don't know exactly when, but several weeks back, Bud had discussed with some people that, there was an issue with his leg, and now Bud had an infection on that leg just about a year ago. Had went into hospital for it. It was another infection, but he eventually fought it off. But apparently somehow this infection kind of reared its head again. Not too clear on the circumstances. I know I wasn't there for the discussion, but he had said he had kind of hurt his leg or twisted his leg while walking or something like that.
Yeah, I think he had mentioned he had twisted. He was out walking, I think with the family, twisted his knee, had seen the doctor, put him on an anti-inflammatory.
Yeah.
And,
because he had an edema, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So a day or two went by, and I received a message. I should say we. So for those who also don't know, we were in a game with Bud, who was the game master for God's Teeth, for Delta Green, and we had been playing this game for it's probably just a little over a year now, and we were near the end. Maybe we were in the last chapter and kind of getting near the end of the game. And we had a game scheduled for Friday, and we got a message, I believe it was either Thursday or Friday, from Bud saying, think I'm going to be in the doctors for a bit to check out my leg, because and then we got a message, and of course, no worries, family first, health first. That's always the credo with us when it comes to gaming. It's just a hobby, no big deal. And so. And did I say who was in the group? It was Seth Gorkowski, Scott Dorwood, and Adrian. And Adrian, if you're listening, forgive me, I don't remember your last name, but Adrian Note Taker. That's now your new last name, because Adrian's been our note taker through a few games now. He is a blessing to any table. But anyhow, so some time passed and we didn't hear anything. Some of us had messaged Bud, and then we received the news that things had gotten worse and that Bud was essentially put into sedation, so to speak. Of course, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this. But his wife, she only told a select few, and she wanted us to kind of keep it on the down low. She wanted it to keep it personal, and of course, no problem. And so, that kind of, and we were provided updates over the period of time, and there was some ups, but a lot of downs over the process. And but during this time, she still wanted to kind of keep it private and personal. So obviously we, comply with her wishes. There wasn't really any big issue with that. It's just we who knew what was going on, because we would get an update every couple days or so, had to kind of put on a brave face around other people who had no idea, and that's difficult. It's extremely difficult, and it takes its toll. And Bud was in the hospital for just over 3 weeks, I believe.
I think that's right. Yeah,
when he passed, and so the news was devastating. The news was horrible. Still getting over it, still dealing with it. But during this whole time, we had been bottling up all these emotions and just talking amongst ourselves. But, still, there was, we were starting to get people asking, hey, has anyone heard from Bud lately? And, we had to just kind of play it off. And then, but one of the things that kind of has helped with the healing process has been when he had passed and we were told, it's okay to, tell people what happened. There was some relief in that. At least there was some heaviness that was lifted. Didn't make the news any better,
right?
But at least we could tell people, and we could start sharing with people. And obviously nobody wants to be the bearer of bad news, but this is news that of course we've been wanting to share with many people, because there's people out there who may not be as close of friends as we are with Bud, but of course they're humans and they have empathy, and they obviously would want to know if it was possible to tell them what had happened with Bud, so they can share their sympathies and whatnot with them. So that's kind of why a lot of, not the whole reason, but one of the reasons why we just had it just couldn't bring ourselves to just do it, because, outside of our personal everyday business, everything was just like, hey, has there been any news? Has anyone heard from
Right,
Bud?
yeah.
So
it was hard to focus. Like anything gaming related was like second fiddle or third fiddle to everything else. So it was like, I can't even focus on it. So again, like I said, it's not something I'm going to apologize for.
No.
And we're all like the lot of us, the small little kind of, I'm not going to call it like an inner circle, but it's a small group, friend group. And, like when we do Gen Con, we all share a house together, and, it's like second family. We're all family to each other.
Yeah.
We all have our ups and downs, we all bicker.
Yes.
We all have our foibles. There's an extended family that goes with it, spouses and partners and children. And we're all family.
Yeah. Every once in a while, someone will kind of get in their respective corners and, blah, blah, blah. But, at the end of the day, everyone still gathers back together. And And the amazing thing is, obviously when these things occur, you take a look back, a retrospective. And while I say we've only been friends with Bud for 5 years, it feels like it's been decades. Because that's just how we were. We were more than just gaming associates or just, having kind of like a coworker type relationship. We late night talks, just one-on-one, with each other and Bud. And sometimes it would be about non-gaming related stuff. Sometimes it would just be a drunken ramble because we had too much to drink. And other times it would be just, Bud getting frustrated about somebody and getting it off of his chest to someone, as people do. And so that's
why I said we're family. It's a second family,
Yeah. That, and kind of there was some extended downtime where I believe we got what sounded like was some good news, where Bud did kind of, they did wake him up to, there was some of his vitals did look better. And I think that's kind of when we said, okay, well, maybe let's try to get an episode in while we can. And then, of course, soon thereafter, the news came through, and it's just like, I just didn't feel like it. Just wanted to talk to the many people, not just who knew, because with this comes, remembering, sharing, just, talking about things, but also it was on us to go out and tell other people. Because his wife, God bless her, and she's dealing with a lot and everything. No, she doesn't, she's probably not aware of half the people, if that he's friends with or associated with online. So now we were tasked with, hey, there's some unfortunate news that we need to share with people, and some was a blanket statement, which Pookie, had his eloquent posting he did that we shared. Some of us did our own online, but a lot of it was just one-on-one discussions with people, just either through Zoom or messaging them, and I know we didn't cover everybody. You can't. I've been through this situation before with other family members, and you're never going to get everything right because you're not in your right head. You're just kind of working on autopilot. Yeah. And so, but we've had some time, there's a little bit of time that's gone by that's kind of allow us to focus on other things, not just, talking about Bud and being able to openly discuss these things without turning into a blubbering mess. But Bud was a big part of the hobby. His impact went far, far more than he even realized. And so there's,
I didn't, so speaking of like his reach, right? So just to give listeners perspective, like I went over to rpg.net the other night. I was chasing a lookup on something.
Right.
And they put and I never go to this website. Like I rarely go to their website, and they put important adverts or notices in the bottom right-hand corner. Yeah. Well, the notice that popped up was a notice about Bud's passing. Oh. Yeah. And then a link to it, a link to an article about it, a posting about it that Chaosium had posted. Yes. That Mike O'Brien had posted, Mob, on rpg.net. And then there was just a small number, a handful of people commenting, their sadness that he had passed, and, that they were, that his walkthroughs of Delta Green stuff and his RuneQuest stuff, were like their go-to thing. So just to, the reach, is crazy.
Well, I don't know where his channel is, but he's so very close to 10,000 subscribers. And Bud was obsessed with his subscriber count.
Oh my God, was he ever
to the point where if anyone, like myself and Pookie, we're just, kind of just doing this for fun kind of thing, ooh, I got, I'm up to 500. And of course, Bud's reply would be like, yeah, I'm at 8,000. That was his immediate. Now, he wasn't intentionally trying to be a dick, but of course it was always like, yeah, hey, Scott, that's nice, but, talk to me when you get up here kind of thing.
As of today, it says on his YouTube channel, 9.9 thousand.
Good. So, hey, anyone listening to this, if you haven't subscribed to Bud's channel, that would be a wonderful send-off, one of many that's going to be done for him. But just to get it to 10,000 subscribers, make a fucking dummy account. Who cares? We're just to get that number up there.
That would be an awesome send-off.
But 10,000 people subscribing, that's a huge deal. To be perfectly honest, anyone subscribing to your fucking channel is a huge deal. I can't believe, almost 1,300 people subscribe to my nonsense. But that's the small part of it. It's the actual people who watch it. Like, we have maybe 50 people subscribe to us. Actually subscribe. Now podcasts are different than YouTube. Yeah. But we've had tens of thousands of listens on our episodes. Bud probably has hundreds of thousands of people watching it who never subscribed to his channel.
Right. But, plus the podcast.
Plus the podcast. Stuff
that he and Griff had. I mean,
so even just
that's an extension of his reach and his influence within the hobby. So
yeah, just these subscribers alone is impressive. But and of course Bud was very private with certain things, but he would share it every once in a while. I don't remember the last time he showed me, but I mean the amount of people that watch his videos and never subscribe, that's a normal thing on YouTube. Many people will just continue to watch something and never subscribe to it. So, but I mean, yeah, it's just he still there's people you'll still see because it's the initial announcement was a little while back, but. You'll still occasionally see, oh my God, I didn't know. I just started watching his Masks of Nyarlathotep videos. I just discovered Bud. This is horrible. And there's probably going to be more and more of those as we go along. And the influence is going to definitely continue. So it's still like we said, a dozen times over. It's a huge loss for us losing our friend, but it's an equally huge loss to the hobby that he's not here to carry on, the work that he loved to do. And it's just, it's a difficult thing, but at least he does have a legacy that goes above and beyond him, with everything that he's done. Yep.
So he's got his videos, he's got the book and his podcast. Those will live on in perpetuity.
Yeah.
Out in cyberspace. He's got the books he's published, his scenarios that he's done.
The what is it? The highest ranking Miskatonic repository
English
scenario?
Language one. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it
the first to reach Mithril?
It's Mithril.
Sorry. Yes, I'm not English, but yes, in English, it's Mithril. So yeah, that's his, the claim to fame.
Yeah.
With him and Alex. So,
and he does have other, games that he was working on. There was the sequel to Viral, which I was fortunate enough to play test through conclusion with him. That Alex is going to, I believe, finish it. And
my last conversation with Alex is, yes.
Okay. Well, good.
Yeah, my last conversation with Alex is yes, it's still forthcoming. Mm-hmm. When? I don't know.
Yeah.
That I can't answer.
Yeah.
But my understanding is yes, it's still forthcoming.
Yeah.
So more to follow.
Yeah.
Whenever, I don't know.
Nothing's going to happen very quick because it's still new. It's still new.
Yeah.
But
the wounds are still fresh, as it were.
Yeah.
So,
but speaking of his legacy and his reach, we've discussed it. We've talked about, Keith and I and other people, several ways to memorialize Bud, above and beyond his own influence, not, just to kind of, show him the honor and respect that, he deserves. And several things are in there, and, it may continue on for however long it is, because, Bud's been our friend, for so long that it could, there's no, if I can memorialize him, consistently, that's fine with me. Whatever it is, sure. I'd love to say some good things about our friend. But one of the things that we're trying to do soonish, I'll say, because it's still not 100%, is doing a memorial video in regards to Bud. Nothing really overly produced. What we're going to do is we're going to reach out to people, and if they would like to say something, whether it be a reel, a voice recording, just send a picture, maybe, send something written down that they want to say, but maybe they don't want to record, or they don't want to get on video, and maybe we can have someone else read it off to them, and just, tie these together and essentially just have, however many people want to participate, tell their stories, give their sympathies, whatever it may be, and just have, just show, how many people were influenced, loved and enjoyed Bud. And I'll tell you what, however many people end up doing this, the amount of people that he touched goes well beyond that. And I'm saying that because I don't want it to, I will, of course, because, Bud's my friend, but I would prefer not to edit together 10,000 video reels. But I will, because, that's what he deserves. So nothing set in stone yet, but I've been talking to other people, and people will definitely be involved in this. It's going to be generally open. I mean, there'll be a way to submit whatever it is. Of course, it's got to be past some sort of approval. Obviously, the internet is not, a perfect place. So it's not like we're just going to slap something on, on a video of whatever it is. But, if you've got something you want to say, you'll definitely have an opportunity to say it one way or another and see what other people have to say. And definitely looking forward to that.
Obviously, bear in mind, because we know the internet is the internet, and I hate to say this, trolls do exist. Yeah. However, the internet being the internet, there's going to be some quality control in terms of content.
Yes.
So trolls need not apply, because, this is something we want Bud's family to be able to, and loved ones, to be able to go back, 6 months from now or 5 years from now, and be able to go back and look at, along with everything else from Bud's life, and remember Bud. So, because again, Bud's reach is greater than just his immediate and immediate extended family. There's the rest of, like, his extended family, like us, and then, those that he influenced and had influence on in the gaming community. So
absolutely. So it will be difficult, but I'm also looking forward to doing it, and just seeing the end product, and just seeing all the people say the things that they want to say, and just, and a lot of things that, I know Bud has heard, but, he always was kind of like, they don't mean it, or I don't care. I just do my own thing. It's like, they like what you do.
Right.
It's just accept it, they do. And the couple people who don't, fuck them. You're in a far better place where they ever could be, when you were doing your videos and everything. And it's just
right.
But still, we are digressing here a bit, and so but yeah, kind of, obviously, no intention. The intention was not to bring down this episode, but it's something that we wanted to discuss and get off of our chest. As the Titterpigs, I guarantee you, in one format or another, this probably won't be the last time that Bud may come up from us, whether it be on another podcast or a video or whatever the case may be. But
yeah,
it's just something that we just wanted to just open up about and just kind of, just say our piece and know that it helps,
Yeah,
it does. So,
because we're still healing. It's a road. It's a journey. We're human.
Mm-hmm.
So it's part of the process.
Right.
That being said, so just remember, we are the Titterpigs. Scott's the tit. I'm the pig. See, a little bit upbeat.
Yeah.
So moving beyond that for now, Scott, what are we looking like moving forward? It's as of this recording, it's the 1st of September. It's Labor Day here in the States.
Sure.
We know you got CamCon coming up.
Yep.
I've got Mythic Con in North Carolina coming up in November.
Yes.
Which I am obviously we just discussed. Some things have come up. I've been woefully neglecting in my duties to get my games together and get them submitted. Although I think I've narrowed down to 2 anyways right now.
Right.
I think after the running of playing in the Weird Heroes of Public Access, I think I do want to run that.
Okay.
And I think I'm going to run the Quiet Year.
Okay, cool.
That's a fun one. I always like doing that one.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to do for a third one yet, but moving beyond that, what do we have in store, if anything, yet for upcoming Titterpigs episodes? Because we need to get back on track for our listeners because we owe them that.
Yeah. So I would think, of course, one of the things that we might do is there might be a CamCon recap, and likewise a recap from your convention, because that's always good and entertaining to hear how that goes. I think hey, if you're going to end up running WHPA, and of course I'm running it at the con too. That's the only game I'm running because of all the other stuff I'm involved in. Is maybe we'll have a review. We'll have a discussion of the game and, kind of talk about the perks and, the pitfalls of the game, some of which we've talked about already. It is a great game, but if, it's not perfect, that doesn't mean that it's bad, but, we'll talk about in detail.
Okay.
And likewise, we actually have a few people, and won't name names yet because we don't know when their availability is going to be. A few people that we're going to get back to interviewing, and hopefully we'll be getting to that soon. Interviews are wonderful, and interviews are great episodes because we don't have to do all the work.
No. And actually, I like bringing people on because I like hearing other perspectives.
Right.
I like hearing about their projects, and I like getting excited about other people's projects.
Right.
I don't get excited about opening my wallet, but I do like hearing about other people's projects.
So yeah, that's kind of it. And maybe the other things that we may do is if we do get a bit busy, maybe we'll just throw a short 15-minute, 20-minute discussion of just something that we may do just for fun. Just to get stuff out there more. We're 2 old guys and we like to bitch and moan about things, and if there's some topic that hits the gaming world or hobby news, maybe we'll just hop on and give our opinions and add it to the list of grumpy old dudes who want to be. I don't want to
be the grumpy old dude, though.
No, but I mean, just
hey, get off my lawn, kid.
A topic discussion. We've talked about this, and as far as the problem with a lot of topic discussions is they're only relevant for a short period of time, depending on what it is. But I mean, there's certain things
it's social media. It's gone in 30 seconds.
Yeah. There's certain things we may want to cast our 2 cents in on if it, strikes our fancy. We're not going to turn into a TTRPG TMC like many others.
Nope. We agreed on that at the beginning of this. 50 episodes ago.
No interest in that. No, we could. And I guarantee you we would probably triple our listenership, but
And then I would hate doing the podcast.
Yeah, same here. I would
So-
never be clean, never ever feel clean. So yeah. I think it's probably good. We ride off on a bit of a higher note than what it is, but yeah. So look, we'll make the official announcement in regards to the video for Bud, and if and other things may come up, in regards to him, but also look for our other episodes. We're definitely kind of through the event horizon of a lot of things that has been keeping us from doing the show, but definitely, getting the what's the word I'm looking for?
We're back in the saddle, baby.
Yes, getting back in the saddle and riding off again. So with that, speaking of saddle.
With that, let's ride off into the sun. Listen, if you've liked this episode, please go back and listen to some of our previous episodes. Share these wherever you hang out on social media. Tell your friends about us. We make millions and millions of dollars in Monopoly money.
My children need wine.
Yes, yes. No, we really don't make any kind of money doing this. No. We do this because we love the hobby. We like to get back to the hobby. So like and share these episodes. Subscribe, whether it's YouTube or Spotify or Apple or wherever you're listening to these episodes. Please, thank you. Scott, where can they email us if they'd like to throw a topic idea at us, or maybe their favorite game? Maybe if one of us has the game that they suggest, maybe we can talk about it. Do we like it? Do we not like it? Whatever. Where can people email us?
You can email us at titterpigspod@gmail.com. And likewise, if you're one of those 2% who don't do emails for some reason, of course, you can always send us messages on Facebook. You can send us messages on Blue Sky too. So,
yep, because we don't do that other social media platform.
Oh God, it is such a desolate wasteland shithole.
The dumpster fire. Formerly known as
all right,
Twitter.
enough. That could be a 20-minute rant. If we start doing those.
We don't
things.
do that place anymore. So, but you can find us. You can find both Scott and I and the Titterpigs account on Blue Sky. That's the easiest way to get a hold of us. So find us there. You can engage with us there, or we have Titterpigs on Facebook or the email. Yeah. So until the next episode, we're out of here. Let's get back on our horsies and ride on out of here. Don't do that again.
Fuck off.